Hello. Welcome back to Siplife VP. It's your Uncle John, and today we are going to talk Japanese blended whiskey. Which one? But before I get into the Japanese whiskey, let me say thank you for checking out my channel. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this content. Hopefully you see me growing and getting better. And that way, as I grow, we grow together. We all learn a little bit more and sip a little bit more. Let's go ahead and get into the whiskey. So today I'm going to be sipping on Suntory whiskey, Toki. Toki in Japanese means time, by the way, but just so you know, this is a blended whiskey as well. So the idea of Suntory is to bring together some of the old flavors, because it's been around since the early 1900s. We'll get into the history in a minute, and I'll give you some years and some dates, but it's been around for a while. So they're bringing in that old flavor with the new flavor. This is their newest product that they put out. So this came out in maybe the mid 2010s, something like that, 2016. Again, I'll get into the dates, but this is one of the newer ones. And they say on the nose you should kind of get some basil, some green apple, and honey. So for the taste, you're gonna get grapefruit, green grapes, thyme, and peppermint. I didn't get any of those on my taste palette. My palette was way different than what they said. I mean, I got some floral stuff, but it definitely wasn't peppermint. I did get the fruity though. I did kind of mention it has that fruity taste. So I was kind of there, but green apples, I wouldn't have said that was a green apple. And I definitely don't know what thyme tastes like. Thyme is it? So on the finish, they said that it's, subtly sweet, a little bit of white oak in there, some ginger, and white pepper. I don't know what white pepper is. Is that a seasoning that we don't use much? I had never used white pepper before. I thought all pepper was black, grounded up black pepper. Nope, I guess I need to expand my season game too. So now it is story time, and Uncle John is going to teach you a history lesson. All right, you ready? Let's do it. So once upon a time in Osaka, Japan, back in the late 1800s, a gentleman by the name of Shihiro decided to work for a pharmacy sales rep, which taught him about whiskey in essence. While learning about whiskey, he was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. This is dope. Let me see if I can bring this to my peoples and see what I can do with it. So he mastered how to make blended whiskeys at this point, right? He started working in the lab, mixing and matching and seeing what's happening. And then eventually it kind of worked out where he's like, I got it. Japanese whiskey. So eventually he leaves and he decides to kind of start his own thing. So in 1899, he decided, you know what? I'm doing my own thing. Let me get out here, rent me a spot, and see what I can do. Let me see what kind of magic I can work. So he did it. And let's see what happens next. So in 1899, he was like, yeah, I'm out. I know what I'm doing. Let me go ahead and create my own thing in my own spot. So he rented a spot and he got to work. So now dude decides to invest his whole family fortune into creating his first whiskey. Actually, his first distillery. So he goes outside of Yamasaki, and there he opens up his first distillery. I mean, this concept of a distillery was so new. People from everywhere was pretty much hating on it. It was like, nah, man, you can't be creating no Western liquor over here. Like, we don't do that. We represent sake. Like, man, what you doing? But, he went ahead and went forward with it. And again, like I said, he created the first distillery in Japan. Well, the first whiskey distillery in Japan. By 1918, he was rocking and rolling, right? So around this time in the 1920s, he's pretty much doing his thing. His distillery is up and running. Now, the location is dope because of the fact that you got this natural river running through when you get to the end of the process, and they kind of add that local water to it. It's adding all kind of flavors and natural flavors to it, as well as bringing in the essence of Japan into the spirit. By the 1930s, he was rocking and rolling, but people wasn't loving his whiskey. But eventually, after putting out a few, he got to the Suntory Kakuben. That one was on point, and everyone started to fall in love with the brand and what he was doing. And yeah, you know, the rest is history. Like now we at where we at. We're drinking this, right? Yeah. All right, so now we coming to the end of the story. So long story short, at this point, he comes up with a few more different types of whiskeys over time and naturally perfects them, opens up a few more distilleries in different locations, bringing in obviously different flavors from the water sources that are coming in, along with the grain sources and so on. And by 2016, we get to the point, like I said in the beginning, that we have this Toki Suntory. That time, baby. And there we go. That's it. That's the story. And just like that was the end of the story, now I'm at the end of my sip and we're at the end of the episode. All right, guys. So I appreciate you watching. Thanks for taking out your time to check out the video, of course. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. And if you want to see more of my content and help me grow, go ahead and subscribe. And of course, one last thing, sip safely, and I'll see you next time.